You know, the princes are, you know, are the guys who do like the bathroom mirror pictures of their abs, like, oh, you know, I woke up like this, hashtag, you know, those are the princes in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely, which to me was
hashtag abs.
Incredible. Hashtag abs. There's this moment, you have this great scene with Emily Blunt where you've fled the castle and she's a peasant, so she's like, this must be amazing that you were in the castle, and you're like,
Cinderella was a peasant 24 hours ago, and she is talking to a peasant who thinks that she's a princess and that everything's great and, you know, that she wouldn't have it any other way. And yeah, to play that scene was really interesting because it's, you know, it's almost like Cinderella can't say like, no, I was you 24 hours ago and I'm telling you, it's really not what it looks like. So there's, I mean, that theme is really through the movie, is sort of that the grass is always greener and, you know, every situation has problems.
I mean, for me, it reminded me of Prom 2000, where I was really psyched, and then it was a total letdown. One of the things that the film really grapples with is this idea of transformation and transformative experiences, right? Like the baker and his wife have this experience where all of a sudden they're a team and they're working together and it's changed them. And I wonder if what that's supposed to be for Cinderella. Is that supposed to be, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I think that her transformation does not come when she gets the dress and goes to the ball, and the whole first half of the movie, she can't make up her mind. She, you know, the scene with the baker's wife, she doesn't know what to do, and the scene on the steps of the palace, she, you know, basically talks herself around and around and around, and then decides, I won't decide, I'll put the ball back in his court somehow, and, you know, once again, make him decide. And then in the second half of the movie, she's just very clear, like once, and that happens in real life, you know, when tragedy strikes, it's like you know what's important and you trust your gut and you don't, you know, let yourself get into your head, and that's, you know, a really interesting version of Cinderella.
One of the things that struck me watching the film was that every time Cinderella runs away from the prince, he gets more and more interested in her. Like you can see his desire ramping up.
That's funny.
And I wonder if like fundamentally Cinderella is a story about playing hard to get.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, unfortunately, it's a story about, like, most relationships and the way that most people's brains work and desires, and that, you know, the prince, like, Cinderella is not trying to do this, but the prince is the guy who's interested until he gets the thing that he wants, and then he wants a different thing. So, you know, I think that's more on the prince than on Cinderella, but, you know, it's definitely about how flawed we all are, and even though the princes are sort of cartoonish characters, you know, they're very, very flawed, and in a lot of ways, portraits of people we see in real life.
Is it fair to call you a musical theater nerd?
Well, I feel like
I'm asking as a musical theater nerd, so.
For your average Joe, I'm a musical theater nerd, but for musical theater nerds, no, not at all. Like if somebody wanted to get into like a musical theater trivia thing, they would eat me alive, and that's not, you know.
Because if you love musical theater, then it's got to be pretty amazing to have Stephen Sondheim not just write and compose for you, but like change his lyrics of a much loved production for you.
I felt really spoiled in the cast that he was working so closely on my song in particular because he was updating the lyrics.
He's a very smart prince. He's a prince who prepares. Knowing this time I'd run from him. He spread pitch on the stairs.
You know, that was, you know, just amazing, and sort of like, I felt like, oh my God, I'm like collaborating with Stephen Sondheim, which wasn't what was happening. I'm a hired hand and I, you know, am there to service him. But it, you know, like in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, this is like great. We're jamming together. This is so cool.
Would he feel the same way?
No. He would feel like, no, she's a hired hand. She does what I tell her to do.
I feel like for a lot of modern girls, you're a modern girl hero. And so there are girls who are going to come watch this film and look at you and wonder what the lesson is that they're supposed to take away.
Oh boy, well,
no pressure at all.
Stay in school, don't do drugs.
Help your dad pick out a good wife.
World peace.
If he gets remarried.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, because that's really where the story just.
If you ever have stepsisters who do a hair bow, I mean, just run. Get out of that situation. It's not good.